Well, there is still a widespread belief out there, particularly on the right, that business interests are basically conservative. Now, you could argue about whether that was ever true. It's certainly not true now. The opposite is true. The ideological gap between the leaders of America's most powerful corporations and, say, the Democratic Party is basically non-existent. They agree on everything. Now, having failed at the ballot box in 2016, the left is using other means to make the outcome of those elections irrelevant, in fact. Nowhere is this clear than on the subject of the Second Amendment. There is a constitutional right to bear arms. It's in the Bill of Rights. Number two, in most states, there's not a lot of enthusiasm for restricting the Second Amendment. Voters don't want it. Doesn't matter. The left is now colluding with large companies to roll back your rights to bear arms without any legislation at all. No public debate. They're just doing it. For example, on the website Reddit, the page for gun deals has been banned. Can't go there anymore. On YouTube, Google has banned the postings of videos that link to gun sellers or that simply promote the purchase of guns or accessories like magazines. They've also banned videos demonstrating how to attach gun accessories. Already popular YouTube firearm channels have been banned, driven off, or demonetized. You can't find them. You can't get the information anymore. But the most amazing example of this comes from Citibank. Now, that company announced today it will require all of its clients to block gun sales to those under 21 to bar the sale of bump stocks or high-capacity magazines. You may remember Citigroup because about 10 years ago, they got $45 billion of your dollars, taxpayer dollars, to get bailed out. That's why they still exist. Now they turn around and work to undermine the constitutional rights of the taxpayers who bailed them out. We called Citibank today to ask if they send a representative over to explain how this works exactly, but they refuse because they're cowards. This is happening over and over. More companies are participating, and they're taking action on more issues. The fear the government might remove your rights is becoming quaint. Big tech and big finance are doing it for them already. With no public debate, they just do it, and tough luck if you don't like it. Larry Keane, president of the National Shooting Sports Foundation, he joins us tonight. Larry, thanks a lot for coming on.
Oh, thanks for having us, Tucker.
This is one of those changes that I don't think anybody anticipated was coming, and it's not exactly clear what the parameters are. YouTube is banning what?
Well, they're banning any advertising or videos involving firearms. So it's a little unclear and it's very vague about the scope. So, for example, are they going to ban videos of teaching you how to reload ammunition, which, as you know, is very common in the United States, or firearm safety education videos that show people how to use firearms? So it's very troubling that YouTube would censor information. As a media entity, you would think that they would be a little bit more sensitive to the consequences of censorship. So very troubling what they're engaged in.
But more than just a media entity, I mean, this is not like Fox News, the Washington Post saying we're not going to cover something. I mean, YouTube is the public square, in effect. And they have a massive share of online videos. If they shut down a whole category, then it's kind of over, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, as you say, they're like the, it's the free market of ideas, except they have a monopolistic power, and they're putting a finger on the scale and deciding what information Americans are allowed to see. So they're suppressing First Amendment rights, and at the same time, they're suppressing the Second Amendment rights by preventing people from gathering or acquiring information about a completely lawful activity. And firearms are protected by the Constitution of the United States. So it's deeply troubling, and I think that the public is going to be very upset about it. And we're certainly going to be talking to members of Congress to have oversight hearings to find out exactly what these social media sites are doing and how they're abusing their monopolistic power on information to advance a liberal anti-gun agenda.
Republicans seem to think this is the example of the free market, but there's nothing free about this market at all. It's controlled. Larry, thank you. I appreciate that.
Pleasure to spend time with you. Thank you.